So it's April the 1st. My last oil change with Honda was at 24,143, and now it's at 25,266. So I'm going to change my oil early, and let's see what the oil life is at. Let's see if we could toggle to that section. So maintenance oil life is at 40%. And what I will be using is a Baldwin B1402 Honda spec oil filter and Kirkland full synthetic 020 spec, Dexos 1 certified, and the latest GF6 and API SN Plus certification on there. So ILSAC GF6A. All right, so I got my solo cup ready, rags, bucket to hold the used oil, lantern, and my tool kit. And this solo cup trick to hold the oil filter is not from me. I actually caught it from one of the other YouTubers, so can't take credit for that, but this is going to keep the oil filter very clean when I take it off. So I'll show you guys very shortly. So now I'm underneath the Civic. This is really hard to see, but this is the metal aluminum panel that I'm going to be taking off. All right, so there's a bunch of screws around. So I'll take it off and then I'll show you guys which screws it is, but it's really hard to see under here because I have it jacked up high, but obviously not high enough for my camera to focus. All right, so I do have the plate taken off. As you can see, there's a bunch of holes. This is some sound deadening material, and there's a total of 10 bolts holding in this aluminum panel. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 quick release, 4 regular Phillips screws, and another 4 smaller, or sorry, 2 more smaller Phillips screws. So those are the ones holding it in. All right, so here's underneath. This will expose your oil filter right there. Let's get the light under there. There's the oil filter. That should be one from Honda service. And then the drain bolt is just right behind it right here. All right, so I finally got that bolt loose, the drain bolt, and I don't know who the heck at Honda tightened it last, but freaking heck. You wouldn't believe how tight it was, just nuts. Anyways, so here it goes. Perfect. I got the drain plug. Oil is going into the bucket perfectly. That's great. Let's see if we can get some light on there. You can see that the oil is pretty dark. There was, I put in about 2 ounces, two and a bit ounces of Marvel Mystery Oil. So look at that. It's gotten really dark. Let's see if we can get some better light. Certainly it's quite dark. So I've already taken that up, the dipstick and the fill cap off so that it relieves some oil, sort of like the pressure, vacuum pressure. And as the oil is draining, I'm just gonna show you guys this drain plug. I mean, the tech, whoever tightened it last, tightened it so much that I can't even take this washer off. Look at that, it's like, holy smokes, what the heck? I mean, it was done at Honda. That's crazy. I can't even take this washer off. Right, so here's a better view. I've changed my oil several times before, so it's not as if this is the first time changing oil, but look at that. Let's see if we can focus. Look at that ridge over here. It's basically this washer. It's been compressed so much I can't even take this off. It won't come off. I've used a knife to sort of separate it, but now this ridge is stuck onto, like, fused onto the base. I mean, seriously, it was change that Honda, I have the receipt to show it. It's nuts. All right, so I'm gonna prep the Baldwin filter. I have some oil in this container right here. Just gonna fill it up. And that's probably enough. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of oil to just basically just wet that rubber gasket right there. And the oil inside is gonna just soak into the element, the filtering element. And now the filter is ready. All right, so the oil pretty much stopped dripping. I'm gonna put this bolt back on, that way it stops dripping. And then I'm gonna now take the oil filter off. I already loosened it, but the same freaking tech that, sorry about that, that tightened the drain bolt, tightened this silly oil filter super tight too. But luckily I was able to get it loose. All right, so since the filter is loose, I'm gonna use the solo cup trick. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me get a little bit of light in, a little bit more light in there. You guys can see that. All right, that's a little bit better. So basically, you just want to loosen it off with a certain amount, and then use the solo cup to loosen the rest of it. What that will do, see it's still dripping a little bit, but it will help at least keep your hand and your wrist clean. So the solo cup is basically catching a lot of the oil, in which case, sorry for the cracking, but once I get this off, then you guys can see how clean my hands are anyways. There's a lot of threads. There we go, it's out. All right. So let me show you guys. All right, so here's the solo cup. As you can see, it caught a lot of the oil, and my hands are not bad. I didn't get any on my wrist anyway, right? So here's the filter. I'm gonna clean that off and probably rip it apart. Just want to see what's underneath the inside anyway. So here's the oil filter. Pretty sure it's the one from Japan. Actually, you know what? Made in USA. So I've actually already ripped one of these apart from the CRV. This is actually from Honda. So whether it's made by Honeywell or Fram, this is what they gave me. So anyways, I might just rip it apart anyways, just to show you guys again. Yeah, stay tuned. All right, so before I put on the filter, I always go up and clean that rubber gasket, where the rubber gasket meets the metal of the filter, and just to make sure that there's no dirt or any loose particles. And of course, make sure that the rubber gasket didn't stay on that metal lip. And it is clean, so now I'll go in with the Baldwin filter, spin it on, and then basically just tighten, and then tighten once more. It doesn't have to be very tight. Let the rubber do its job. So now it's on. Yeah, that's tight enough. I don't want to reef on it, or else it's going to be super hard to take off next time too. The rubber, you know, it expands, right? So, you know, when it gets warm. So it's cold right now, so that's fine. And I always just wipe around the area, and then I'm going to pull out the drain bolt again, just so that it has, you know, whatever is left of the drainage. Probably not much anyway, but just gonna, you know, drip a very small amount out. I'll show you. There's going to be a little. See that? Not a lot, but you know, maybe a quarter of an ounce or something. Anyways, just let it run, I guess. I'll let it drip a little bit for another 5 minutes or whatever, as I prep the what do you call it, the funnel and the new oil. Just make sure, I just have to make sure I don't forget to put the bolt back on. And just to make sure you guys are aware, I've cleaned this filter, so basically you could see that is a made in USA Gen 1 Honda filter. This was on the car, and it was from the dealership. All this oil that is in here, in the solo cup, I'm gonna put it into the big bucket, and I will measure the bucket contents in a separate video, just to see how much, you know, over I have. If I have over, then obviously I have oil dilution still. Let's see how much I have. Right, so I have the filter on, nice and tight. I've tightened up the bolt, the drain bolt, nice and tight. Not extremely tight, but snug, very snug, torqued up anyway. And I'm ready to fill the engine oil. 3.5 liters. All right, I'm putting on the bottom pan cover, and basically it's a bit hard to explain, but you have to, there's two tabs in the back there. You see that one tab and the other tab right there. You basically have to hook that on while you're tucking the front part under this piece of plastic, and you move backwards and it stays. Once it's in position, you should see the tabs, that tab in the front there, or rather the back of the car, that tab and that tab is latched on, okay? And then now you can put the screws on, and they all should line up, right? So I can even feel this one, you can see this one is lined up. So that's basically it. All right, so I put on the 6 screws. There's 4 in the front. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, 4 in the front, and then 2 in the back. That one in the back, right by that tab that I was showing you guys earlier. That tab, there's 1 screw right there, and 1 more screw beside the other tab on the other side. All right, see that? So I recommend putting in these 6 in first, and then afterwards put in those quick release ones, which is right here. The quick release one looks like that, right? These quick release ones you should put it into, because the last thing you want to do is like miss a bunch of screws or put in the wrong ones in the wrong holes. Then what happens is that you're gonna get a rattling pan, and then you're driving around is rattling, and it's gonna be a big pain in the butt, right? So what I recommend is to do a video, like just take a few snapshots of where those bolts belong, and then that way you don't miss one, or put in the wrong one in the wrong hole, right? So yeah, not to harp on that part, but it is very important. Right, so here's the fill. All right, so it calls for 3.7 liters. There is 4.73 liters here. So I'm gonna be leaving about a liter left, right? Well, I'm gonna go to about here, over 1.5, just in case, right? So I'll slow down at this point, and then I will check the dipstick and make sure I don't overfill, right? Still a ways to go. So as you can see, I have a makeshift paper filter, and you guys are probably thinking, well, paper is not very good for a filter or a funnel, but you guys will be surprised. This cardboard, they use it in the oil filter, the OEM oil filter. So I'll show you guys that later. Anyways, that's fine. And it's very sturdy, so I like making funnels like this anyway. All right, so I'll keep going, and then I'll show you guys how much I have later. I don't want to bore you guys with me filling up oil slowly. But 3.5 liters, all right? So very important, it's 3.5 liters. All right, so at this point, I've put in about 2.5 liters, and you can actually start to see, right? You can actually start to see where it is. So I can see it's right here. See that shininess part of it? So I have a little bit of ways to go. I'm gonna go to the full line plus a little bit. All right, so that's gonna be my baseline. To overfill it by a little bit is okay, right? As long as you don't go all the way to the metal, right? A little bit over is okay, because I'm in my garage, and this garage is designed so that, let's say, you got snow melting in here, from the tires and whatnot, that the water flows forward, right, instead of into the garage, right? So this garage, it is a bit small on a decline, so that's why I'm going to go a little bit over that full line, and that will be my baseline. So for you guys, I mean, you just have to know where you park, where you check your oil, and that way you can have a baseline, and where your baseline is. So that's where my baseline is, which is the line and then a little bit over. All right, so I'm pretty much there. So I've filled it to about where it needs to be, meaning about a quarter and a half left. And what you want to do is wait for a few minutes. So as I'm talking, there's a few minutes that passes by, then the oil will settle down to the pan, in which case you can check the oil, right? The level, right? So that's where it is. And I can see, let me just check against the light. It's pretty much there. I hate the fact that they made this dipstick orange, because with clean oil it was just really hard to see, right? But anyways, it is what it is. That's where it is. Let's see if I can bring the light over. One of you guys mentioned to get a black light, but I don't have one, so I'm gonna put a little bit more in and wait for a few minutes, and that should be it. I think that's gonna be at a good level. And then, of course, start the engine, look underneath, make sure nothing is leaking, and you're good to go. All right, so final check. I got it at a pretty good level, I'm pretty sure. So on this tissue paper, I can show you what the oil looks like. New. That's new oil. That's like clear, right? So this is where it's at. Right, just a little bit above the full line. All right, so let me see if I can zoom in. It's gonna be really hard to see, but anyways, it's right where it needs to be. So I'm good to go. Here it is, idle sound. Seems smoother. Sounding anyway. What do you guys think? All right, so I checked underneath. There's no oil leaks or anything like that, so I think I'm good to go. But I just wanted to leave you guys with this oil test that I just did through about 1,000 kilometers, a little bit over actually. But anyways, it was at 41 or 24,143, and this is the oil dab I did, and I added Marvel Mystery Oil, in which case this is the oil at 24,289. The Marvel Mystery Oil started working a little bit more, and so it got a little bit dirtier. So you can see that it got light, darker, darker. And then this one was the last one, but this one is, as you can see that some of it I actually did a pull when it's cold. So you can see it's actually quite dark. You see that color compared to these ones? This one was from the CRV, and the CRV I just changed oil, and there's only a few hundred kilometers on there, so that's why it's pretty light. And you can see that the Marble Mister oil actually did. This is the last pull I did hot, and you can see the difference between the colors, right? So within 1,000 kilometers, the oil went from this color all the way to that color, right? So even 2 ounces of Marble Mister oil makes a difference. You guys might not be able to see the color difference, but maybe you can. See that color difference here compared to that one right there, which is the last one at 25,060, right? And new oil, that's what it looks like. Very, very light, right? And I had allowed the oil to sort of soak through the, into the paper sort of idea. So that's for what it's worth, that's my quick test. All right, so yeah, I actually like doing this type of stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and tune in for more. And I will be measuring that drained oil once I get a clean bottle to measure it basically, and then I'll show you guys how much I have drained out. The idea is that there should be about 3.5 liters that drains out. If there's more than 3.5, that means that's the amount of fuel dilution I've gotten into the oil that I drained out, right? So we'll see, right? I don't smell much of a gas smell in the oil that I drained out. There's a little bit of a chemical smell, but it's not like as if it's like a strong gas smell anyway. So I think it's should be like a good result. Anyways, we will see, and I will show you guys the results shortly. Thank you for tuning in, and like, subscribe, share. As always, have a great night. Take care.